Hey you guys, what's up? This is James here at Unique Perspectives. Thought I'd make another video. Hope you guys are doing well. Please, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into our topic at hand. We're going to talk about feet. So I guess the reason why I'm making this is because most of the videos I make when it comes to talking about the foot fetish concept, admiring feet, I usually talk about it in a general sense, but I don't typically address my specific preferences and things like that. So with some of my videos moving forward, when it comes to the foot admiration, admiring feet, things like that, I do want to kind of share some of my personal views or preferences when it comes to just admiring ladies with nice feet. In this particular video, I just want to address two simple topics, or I don't want to say topics, I want to say, obviously I'm addressing my preference for feet, but I want to address, I guess, two aspects of my interest when it comes to connecting with a potential lady, when it comes to, just implementing the foot concept or me liking her physically, and that includes her feet. So obviously, when it comes to just our preferences as men that like feet, we have preferences, Obviously, there are some guys that I've discussed on my channel that there's a spectrum. There's this area where you have some guys that their concept of admiring feet is really kind of mild. It's a little bit on one end where it's kind of mild. Feet just kind of really just amplifies the beauty of a specific woman that they may be interested in. And then you have some guys on the other side of the spectrum where really just admiring feet takes it to another level where that really dominates them. So I don't actually believe that I'm on that end. I don't put anybody down if they're any place on the spectrum. It's like I'm not gonna judge anyone when it comes to that sort of thing. It's not really that big of a deal to me. I think we all have different preferences, even for different things. Some people are very materialistic, some people like money, some people like a lot of things. So the way I see it is, as long as we're not allowing something to take over our lives, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be feet, money, materials, things. It could be whatever. I think that would be dangerous. As a Christian, of course, my priority is always God. And I actually was sharing this with somebody. So before I would get really deep into the topic, I do want to just address that my relationship with God always comes first when it comes to anything that I'm talking about, including admiring nice feet. So I was actually chatting with one of my subscribers recently. We were having an email exchange, and I just kind of reminded him that I admire feet just as much as any other foot guy. But when it comes to my relationship with God, my admiration for feet takes a back seat. My priority is always my relationship with God. But I do want to just discuss these two aspects when it comes to my personal preferences when it comes to feet. So the first part really is really simple. I like a lady that has clean feet. I think that there are some people that have preferences for feet dirty. Sometimes I've even heard stories, or I've read stories in which before a husband would start being intimate with his wife, he would prefer actually for her to walk outside and get her feet dirty, so that can somehow amplify his sexual arousal or something like that before they get intimate. Now, again, I'm not somebody that is judging anyone, so we have this spectrum, and regardless of where you are, hey, that's your thing. As long as you're not allowing this to take over your life and dominate your entire life, I don't actually have anything that I would oppose you on. I think, God created women to be admired. I think feet, just like hands, just like a woman's hair, skin, are beautiful works of art that God has created. So as long as we're not obsessive, I don't really see a big deal about admiring a lady's beauty, and that includes her hands, her feet, and things like that. So for me personally, I'm not into dirty feet. I think like I said, there are some guys that like dirty feet. I'm not into dirty feet at all. I'm into clean feet, and I like a lady that obviously would take care of her hygiene, and that would include washing her feet, washing the soles, make sure her feet are clean between the toes and everywhere else, just to have clean feet, just like her hands, just like everywhere else in her body. I like a lady clean. Another attribute I'm gonna say that I would like specifically, or I prefer, is a lady with feet that actually smell nice and clean. I know that there are some guys on the spectrum that they actually purposefully would prefer a lady to have smelly feet that have not been cleaned, or feet that have been running around sweaty all day. In fact, I remember years ago when I was still searching and learning about the foot fetish concept, I found a channel where a guy actually purposefully requested, I don't know if it was his girlfriend, his wife, but he purposefully asked her to run around without socks, for I don't know how long, 10, 15, 20 minutes, or just walk around before he starts smelling her feet and kissing her feet or something like that. And I thought it was interesting because, that's not my thing. It was just interesting, but for me, I know that there are some men that love the smell of a woman's feet when they are smelly, when they are dirty, when they have a musky smell or something like that from, I don't know, going to the gym, running around, working all day, whatever. I know there's some guys that are aroused and they're intrigued by that. I personally, it's not my thing. Again, I have nothing against those guys. More power to you. If you and your wife want to do that, more power to you. Have fun, enjoy, because, you know, obviously the human body is something that God created a specific way to enjoy sexual intimacy between you and your partner. So I'm not going to get on anybody's case when it comes to that. But personally, I like a lady with not only clean feet, but feet that they smell good. They've been washed, they're clean, maybe a little lotion, a little oil, and all that good stuff. But yeah, not my personal thing. And maybe in future videos, I'll discuss a little bit more about the science behind why certain guys have certain preferences. But for me personally, it's just not for me. I like a lady with, you know, clean feet. It's very important to me. Another, I'm gonna say maybe the last thing I'm going to mention for this attribute, or at least just my preferences, is there are some guys that have a preference when it comes to, you know, more rougher feet versus softer feet. And you would think that most guys would just go for soft feet, but some guys actually are somehow, I don't know why, but they are intrigued and aroused even by ladies with rough feet that may have corns, that may be rough and things like that. So, and maybe this is for those of you who are not into feet, but you're just watching this for educational purposes. There are people on that spectrum that they have those specific preferences that when it comes to feet, maybe they're okay with soft feet, but they prefer ladies with feet that are more harder, feet that has those bunions, that has those corns. I don't get it, but it's not for me. For me, I definitely would love a lady that has soft skin. And even if I was to be married, you know, and that's something that I'm looking forward to doing one day, is be married, I would definitely implement, it would be a priority to me for my lady to go to the salon. I don't know how often a woman should go. And I've met some ladies that went every week. I've met some ladies that have gone every 2 weeks. I think that's more average. And there's some ladies that go once a month. And then you have some ladies that they do it themselves. So, you know, and then there's some relationships where the guy will help his lady because he's so passionate about it, he will help her. I'm all for that, you know, and I'm okay with helping my partner as well. But I really wanted to just share these two aspects. And I guess all of those little traits or those attributes that I prefer, that's actually for what I prefer. And that's kind of breezing through. There's a little bit more, but maybe I'll say that for another video. But one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is to really address the other half. And I think that a lot of us foot guys, sometimes we look at a lady that we admire or we're attracted to and we want to ask out. And it's partially because, of course, we find her actually attractive and we want to connect with her. We're intrigued by her. Maybe she has a beautiful laugh and things like that. And on top of that, maybe we love her skin. Maybe we love the way that she smells. She has a beautiful fragrance that she wears that really complements her beauty. But on top of that, obviously, her feet, we may have access to seeing her feet. And so that will just amplify her attractiveness to us. But what I wanted to specifically address is that I think that we have to be very mindful that just because a lady has nice feet, just because she goes to the salon every week or every 2 weeks, just because she's very careful and cautious not to mess up her nails, mess up her skin, mess up her feet, it doesn't always mean that she wants just any guy looking at her feet. And that's something that I kind of want to talk about a little bit with the rest of the time I have here. There are some women that, you know, obviously, if you are the right guy that they're interested in, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're 6 feet and you're making $100,000 plus a year, then they will make themselves available to you. You know, I'm not saying every woman is like that. Obviously, there are some very down-to-earth, lovely ladies that they have no issue complimenting or accommodating a man that they love. And if he wants to massage their feet, they're like, hey, go for it, have fun. But there are ladies that, for some strange reason, I don't understand it entirely, will put in a lot of work in regards to making their hands and their feet look very nice. But when somebody compliments their hands and feet, they have an issue with it. And specifically, they have an issue when it comes to gentlemen or men that they don't like, you know, that may not qualify as a potential partner for them. And so that's something that I might explore a little bit more in my next video. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's one thing to have a preference for a lady with nice feet. And let's say you know a lady that right now, top of your head, let's say you're a single guy and you know a lady. But the other concern I guess I have personally is asking myself and reflecting on, does that woman want those foot massages? Does that woman want for you to be flaunting over the nice heels that she's wearing, or if you were dating her, you know, would she want that massage at the end of the day, that foot massage, you know? So I think that's something that I really want to kind of point out to all the men out there that admire nice feet. Is it's one thing to admire a lady that has those nice feet that you prefer, whatever preferences you have on the spectrum, that's perfectly fine. But also consider, does she actually want that attention from you, or just at all? You know, so you know, it's just something to be mindful of, I guess, when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, because I think one of the things that happened to me very early in my life, this is like very early on, you know, I was like maybe in my mid-20s when I dated my very first girlfriend. So I was very early on, I was a late bloomer, you know, which I think in many ways, I'm actually glad God preserved me, you know, and not corrupt me with the craziness of the dating world up to that point. I do remember I was dating a lady that I was very attracted to, and personally, I don't think, looking back, I think she had the ideal feet that I would like today. She had small feet, and that's one of my preferences. I like kind of small feet, 5, 6 preferred. But what was interesting to me is that she was aware that I liked feet, and so she would withhold the opportunities for me to massage her feet sometimes. And then it almost seemed like it caused her to be pleased with the idea that she had that leverage, or that over me, that authority over me. Is, I know that you like my feet. No, I don't want you to touch my feet today. Today's not going to be the day. And it really kind of did something to me. So from a psychological standpoint, even if a woman is very attractive, and I mentioned to her as I'm taking her out on a date or whatever, that implementing foot massages and stuff like that, that's a part of my attraction towards a lady. If she's already showing like she's not interested and she's not receptive, or she wouldn't even be open and receptive, that's a red flag for me specifically. I'm not saying the woman is not dateable. I'm not saying that she's not a potential great potential partner, but I'm just saying specifically for me, that would not work for me. That would not work. So I guess if anything, I'm making this video just to remind the foot guys out there that it's one thing to be attracted to a lady's feet, because let's say the way that her feet look and the way that she cares for her feet really fulfills those preferences that you have, which is fine. But also, I think it's important just to make sure that we keep in mind that some ladies, they may not want that attention from their feet, even though, you know, they're doing all this work to make sure that their feet and their hands and the other parts of their body look very nice, soft. They're caring for their feet. But yeah, it's just a very interesting dynamic. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I also think it's something that for a lot of us foot guys, we need to be mindful of moving forward. All right, guys, God bless you guys. Take care. Peace. If you have any questions or comments, please hit me up. I like to get to all the comments and hear what you have to say. This is James here at Unique Perspectives, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Please like and subscribe. Peace.